Hello and welcome to Celebrity Customer Experience Riffs with me, Jill Raff, where we share stories from the perspective of customer experience, but from the inside out, from employee experience to customer experience. Because I am truly obsessed with employee experience creating outstanding customer experience. I believe that every customer deserves to have the same pampering treatment as a celebrity. And it begins from the inside, which is why I've called my proprietary process the inside out framework from EX to CX, because I guarantee you, without any shadow of a doubt, outstanding employee experience will produce stellar customer experience. Now, I want to welcome everyone and remind you that we want you to participate in this conversation. If you are watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching, you can write a comment in. I'll see it. We'll put it on the screen and we'll bring that into the conversation. So please engage with us. It's so much more exciting and fun, and we want to hear your thoughts as well. My parents and grandparents' first McDonald's franchise was right about number 100 in Ocala, Florida, March of 1959, when McDonald's was the gold standard of the restaurant industry. Now, sadly, today, with so many brands we're now experiencing, we've lost the connections created from having the owners and the executive management hands-on in the business, involved doing whatever was necessary to care for the employees and the customers. Now, due to my upbringing in the McDonald's family, careers across multiple industries, from fashion to restaurant to real estate, spanning 7 countries, that golden, no pun intended, the golden common thread throughout, which is something that I learned as a young child, which is Ray Kroc's motto of QSC and V: quality, service, cleanliness, and value. I now teach the ABCs of QSV. And with this foundation and other work that I've done, I inherently understand extraordinary customer experience because it's truly in my DNA. And today I'd like to welcome our guest, Coach Steve Dailey. Steve is a pioneer and 30-year veteran of the industry of business coaching and founder of the Entrepreneur Excellence Alliance. As a noted advocate for entrepreneur excellence, he's guided thousands to lifetime best achievement in small business. Steve has produced best-selling audio programs, co-hosted a radio show, attracting audiences from over 13 countries, contributed to 5 best-selling books on business success, and created dozens of pivotal frameworks and models that guide a new definition of entrepreneurial success. He's also an avid outdoor adventurer and has learned and teaches that daring the perimeter of the physical possibilities translates into experiences that redefine one's personal potential while anchoring the principles of entrepreneurial success. I'm so excited to have you with us today, Steve. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely, Jill. What a pleasure to have gotten to know you and gotten into your extraordinary, not only your experience, but your applied wisdom that's, I think, really making a difference in the marketplace. So it's great to be pals here.
Well, thank you. Well, I know you are going to share a lot of insight and wisdom to everyone watching. So everyone, take advantage of this time with Steve. You get free coaching here. So please join in and ask some comments. So the topic we're going to talk about today with Steve is the keys for business reinvention right now, with everything going on. But a lot of businesses are simply trying to hold on to what they have and kind of waiting it out, waiting for that whole marketplace disruption to pass. So why should we be reinventing our business now? Wouldn't that be a distraction? But I think it's really important to recognize that it's not about waiting it out, right? I think it's what we do during this time that will basically lay the groundwork for what happens when we're past all this. So what do you think about that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, you're nailing it. If at this moment in time, I think it's wise, it's prudent, I would even say essential for us to recognize that the marketplace has moved. We are recalibrating. If you're waiting for something to go back to where it was, you're really waiting on the past, which obviously is to do. So reinvention is about the very thing that almost every business owner has woven deeply into their DNA, and that is innovation. Now is an extraordinary time for innovation, new thinking, being creative, actually being excited about the recalibrations taking place. When you take a look at some of the biggest brands that we know today, Uber and Airbnb and many remarkable brands were all born during times of marketplace disruption, and now we have that opportunity as well, I believe. So reinvention is absolutely essential and key.
Yeah, I love that. And I pause the technology can be great or not so great. I kind of lost you during those a few seconds when you talked about if you're looking to the past. So can you just restate what you said on that little bit?
Sorry about that. So
no, that's really important. So I just want to make sure.
If you are waiting for things to go back to where they used to be, you're literally waiting for the past to become the present, which doesn't happen. It just doesn't. It's an impossible, I guess, way of being. You're going to be stuck. So I encourage all the people I'm working with right now to look at this new, fresh calibration. We could call it disruption. I say it's an opportunity to really be present and new.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I agree. Let's face it. The past is the past. We can't recreate that. And certainly this past, I mean, I think that's true generally, but especially now with what we're dealing with this pandemic, nothing will ever look like what it did before. We will go back to some new form of reality. I hate the word normal because what is normal anyway, right? And I don't think we're going to have a new normal, but we will have a new reality and we will evolve and deal with whatever it is. And that is where we grow. And that's exciting to me because that's how we become something bigger and better. I hope.
Absolutely.
But yeah, certainly the past is not a good place to be in. And I think I love your word. A lot of people are saying, pivot and all this stuff, but you said, not recreation. What was the word?
Recalibrate.
Recalibrating. Thank you. I love that. Recalibrating. I think that's a fabulous word and a way to express that. So the word reinvention, playing off of this is, I think sometimes we think it's like completely starting new. Like we're going to reinvent ourselves. We're going to throw out the old and we're going to suddenly sprout and show the world something different, something completely new of us. Do you think it's really starting over? And what's your advice around that? I'm not sure I buy fully into that. What's your advice?
I get it. And it can sound daunting. It can sound heavy, like, and all of us that have been in business for any length of time, the idea of starting over is like, that sounds exhausting. So, but here's my perspective, Jill. So first, I look at reinvention as actually starting fresh, not starting over. So we do that reflexively all the time. When Monday comes, don't you feel like you have a fresh week ahead? When the new year comes, we have a fresh year ahead. A lot of us, when we have a birthday, we have a fresh outlook on what's ahead. So that's what reinvention is. But there is a part of, and it ties into what we were saying before, leaving the past behind. I had the privilege of living in Hawaii for a number of years, and during that time, I lived on the Big Island. I had just the amazing opportunity to interact with a lot of native Hawaiians. I got into swimming in the ocean, and you find the native Hawaiians out there, swimming and surfing and so forth. And I learned a lot about the native culture. And one of the very interesting concepts or terms that I ran into that they use is a word called hapai. And when they say hapai, they do this motion, they like throwing something over their shoulder, right? Rocks or salt or whatever, nothing's in their hand, but they say hapai.
Interesting. I love that.
And like Hawaiian word, it has multiple, multiple meanings, but it means basically moving forward and leaving the past behind. And so, for example, when lava comes and takes the village that used to live there, the village people would come, they would assess what happened, and then they would turn and say hapai and move into and create a new village someplace else. And many, many stories that were shared with me about that powerful idea. But I think that's really where we are right now, is in a time where we can both be fresh and forward, but also in so doing, hapai, all the stuff that used to be.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think when we take being open to other cultures and we travel, it gives us such insight, and what a beautiful way to express that too, right? What a beautiful custom. I've been very fortunate, as I mentioned briefly in the intro, that I have lived and worked across 7 countries, and that's like in my blood. I love it so much, and I speak 5 languages as a result, and learning their languages, learning their little customs, living amongst a different way of thinking really opens up our thinking. And I think we're so much more valuable as a leader, as a team player, when we have a broader perspective and we can actually add in those pieces that we gain from learning from others, which, bringing into a more micro environment, even within your business, you can take those ideas. And so I love sitting down and talking with people so that I can strategize where I'm pulling things from different industries or from another country, maybe, that I've just kind of learned and incorporated. And so just like you incorporated your time in Hawaii into this custom is so beautiful, and how perfect. Thank you for sharing it now with our crisis and everything that we're going through, because this is a big one. This is probably the biggest one of anyone that's living currently. Well, there are people who still lived through World War II. I think that's probably the next biggest crisis catastrophe, right? Which is huge. But learning how to not dwell in the, oh my God, woe is me, but be able to look at the positive and say, hapai, right? And just, okay, it's done. I'm not going to dwell in it. I can learn from that, but how to take that forward. And that's a huge one. Thank you. That was really great contribution. So another question. So how would you say is the first or most important strategies or 2 in businesses right now that you feel like will help people recover and reclaim the marketplace prominence with what's going on?
Well, several things come to mind, Jill. Top of mind is a conversation I'm having on a daily basis with my clients today. I think this is a great opportunity to recapture what we all know is good business, and that is defining or redefining our ideal customer. We've had a lot of us in business have had sort of a sorting and purging exercise motivated by the marketplace in terms of the people that follow us, frequent our businesses, do business with us. And sometimes it's because, that has happened because people can't spend the money, sometimes because the business has to stay closed. There's been a lot of factors here that have created this sorting and purging. But now, as we start to come back, as we start to re-enter and re-welcome the marketplace at large to our businesses and reintroduce ourselves to the marketplace, is really a big thing that's happening. It's a perfect time to say, okay, among all the people that I've served, who have been the favorite, what are the characteristics, the persona of my favorite customers? What are the the mindsets, the psychographics, if you will, as well as the demographics of what are the people that have been most loyal, paid most consistently, been most frequent in our businesses most often, appreciated the value that we provide to the marketplace, the people that we connect with, visualize their faces, write their names on a piece of paper, and then ask yourself, if I had 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 customers like that, where would my business be? And when you can crystallize the ideal customer, a lot of people use the term avatar, then basically you start moving, again, talk about moving forward here. You start moving in the direction of then saying, all right, how do I get more of those kinds of people? What is it that I can do now to attract, to be compelled, or to create a compelling message for that particular avatar? And I believe that this is a perfect time to do it. It's a key strategy. So that's one that comes to mind. The other another key strategy I think is just essential right now is to focus, and it's a term that we hear all the time, of course, in business and achievement in general. But pay attention to, more specifically, what are you focused on? And this is a little slippery because it's so easy right now with the way how noisy media is and how negative, unfortunately, media is, how disrupted and disruptive a lot of the conversations are right now about everything from what's going on in the governing of our nation to the head count that we have to hear about every day, and so. Pay attention to what you're focusing on, and it literally is either it's contributing to where you're going in business or it's eroding what you're trying to accomplish in business. And so if you back to that word, recalibrate your focus so that it's tightly tuned to where you're going rather than all the other potential distractions, then that's a critical strategy right now. I tell my clients all the time, ask yourself, are you running to or are you running from something? Mm-hmm. And if you're running to, then you're in motion in a productive way. If you're running from something, hiding under a rock, so to speak, then that's not good for you or your business.
Right. Wow. You've said so much gold here. I hope everyone's taking it in. Yes, in terms of the first piece with, recovering and reclaiming, this time has allowed us the time and the space physically and mentally, I think, to reset what it is that's important to us. And if we had a great culture and we had great values and a system working before all of this happened, then great, take that and figure out now with the influences of what we've dealt with, how do we up that? How do we make that even stronger? And for those of us, maybe the business wasn't what you all planned for. I mean, let's face it, business was good. There was a lot of, again, depending upon your industry, but especially, thinking about, hospitality and restaurants and entertainment and travel, even coaching, learning. Everybody was busy and so busy to the point that I think actually it was a detriment. I think people didn't take the time to actually focus. Great, speaking of focus, I think people didn't take the time to really kind of focus on what was important and training and educating your people, what mattered. Right, to you. What are your values? It was just like, I need a warm body. I need someone out there to take care of the customers. But oh my gosh, how do you have someone who's not educated on what's important to you go interface with your customers?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, that is the kiss of death, because all they need is one bad experience. There's plenty of competition out there, is to take their business somewhere else. And they will. 86% of people say that, it's 89% will actually begin business with a competitor following a poor customer experience. So
Wow.
customers are not very forgiving these days when it comes to that. If, however, you let them know I messed up and I'm going to make it right for you, they are very forgiving. People want to see the good in you. But if
Sure.
you are not trained appropriately, if you don't train your people, if you don't educate them how you want them to respond, then they're not going to do the recovery, right? They're not going to go in and do the putting the Band-Aid on or making it right, fixing it up, not just, Band-Aid. I don't want to imply that it's just a temporary cover, but, that they have to go in there and make it right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So,
true.
certainly it's a time that we can really reset and make it the business that you always wanted, that you always dreamed of. And
Yep.
of course, going positively towards something, not negative, like never be driven by the negative fears of anything. Don't let the fear get in the way. You may have it, but feel the fear and do it anyway, right? There's a book called that, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And, speaking of recalibrating in the lens, like thinking of a camera lens, right? And the aperture and allowing what they call depth of field. So if you have depth of field, basically you can have a blurry background, soft focus, and then you focus in on what you want. And so it's very, I think, an interesting analogy to think of it metaphorically as this soft focus, and then you figure out what's important at that time to focus in on, and
Yep.
really focus on, of course, always the positive.
Dead on. Yep. Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
Steve, in your 30-year experience in helping small businesses grow and dominate their market, specifically in the retail services area, what are some of the pivotal strategies for customer experience and customer engagement that you've seen have the biggest impact that we could apply, that people could apply immediately today during this difficult, challenging time?
So, like so many areas of our life, the fundamental things that work seem to always work. It's as an analogy, professional athletes always start with the fundamentals, and they practice those over and over, even though they're highly competent and established. And I think that's true for business. So. One of the things that I think all great businesses, all well tuned, fine-tuned businesses, if you will, have always done, and is, I think, now more critical than ever, is authentically connecting with their customers. And in your vernacular and focus, which I think is perfect, the same is true with employees. So when, we all know what it feels like to feel like we're just a number, that we're just the next one on the list, that there's not any real connection going on. I'm the next table, I'm the next person in line, I'm the next, form that comes across the desk. It's refreshing and engaging, and right now, I think essential to truly connect, looking people in the eye, saying their name or learning their name, taking the time to ask really authentically, how are you doing today? Are you having a great day? Have you? I was greeted in the grocery store checkout the other day with a young lady that said, "So do you have any plans for this evening?" And then she commented on the bottle of wine as she scanned it across. "Well, I see you do have plans for the evening." Kind of like, what a wonderful little, it put a smile on my face, right? It was connecting, and we are starved for connection right now, are we not?
Yes. Oh my
So I think that has always been, in my experience in coaching businesses, and is today even more than ever. Another one that I'm learning to appreciate, and it actually is what brought you and I together, is I've upped the ante considerably on collaboration, proactively going out into the marketplace, seeking other people with good ideas that I can either learn from, share with, or the word I like to use, cross-pollinate. where, the people that follow me might be interested in what Jill's got to say, and the people that follow Jill might be interested in what I've got to say. Hey, let's meet and talk about it. And that's how we met. I have a mantra, a motto among many that I kind of go by, and one of them is none of us is smarter than all of us. And so I think now, Jill, a key critical business strategy is to collaborate, get out, get on island. Going back to Hawaii,
For a minute, say that again, the last part.
Get off your island.
Yeah.
Going back to my Hawaii experience, the biggest waves you're not going to catch the biggest waves hanging out on the island, right? You're going to have to swim out to them. And so go out there and interact and collaborate with other businesses. Get to know even your competitors, by the way. There could be some gold in co-marketing strategies and partnerships. Take a look at focus groups are a great way to collaborate on what works and what doesn't in the new context of what the business place offers today. So, my gosh, again, none of us is smarter than all of us. And when we embrace collaboration as a strategy, it always has worked. And as you pointed out earlier, we maybe have fallen asleep on needing to do that, but now it's more critical than ever. So I would put those things at the top of the list for strategies to apply today.
Wow, that's great. I hope everyone's taking notes, because you can go back, if you're watching the replay, go back and take some notes, because I just think you're spot on and so much. So just to kind of recap, give people time to write everything. Love what you said about the person at the grocery store. I lived in Texas. I'm in Austin, and I'm from the South. Originally, I'm from Georgia, and I'm used to having people chat me up and talk, in the line or wherever I am. And so I think that's a really important thing, that hopefully she was taught it. Maybe it was just she was given free rein. And I do believe that you need to educate people what it is that you want from them, your employees. You need to engage with them and teach them, show them directly what it's like and be that role model, and then entrust them to go out there and do it and represent you well. And so, hopefully this person had some of that. If not, she's just naturally friendly. But just by even asking you about your evening and commenting on what you're buying, that little bit of human interaction is so huge. Our people, our employees, is our greatest asset, our human asset, our human capital. And everyone who's thinking about the bottom line only will go out of business, especially now. I think this challenging time has made it has shined a light and made it more important, and had people understand how important we are for each other and to each other. And that's why my tagline is transform transactions into interactions.
Yeah.
You need to take what was normally just, exchange of goods and services for money, cold, impersonal, nothing human necessarily going about it. It could be, think about when you go to the bank and you take out money and it says, would you like another transaction? Well, that's all it is a transaction. It's with the machine.
Yeah, right.
So instead, let's make that human interaction happen for true connectedness. And probably my guess is, Steve, that next time you go back to that grocery store, you might look for that person when you get out, right?
Totally. Or recognize and feel like I'm going back to a friend there. Yeah,
exactly. So look, she, as your employee, has now become your greatest asset for repeat customers. You're going to go back and you're going to be looking for her. So these small details, I think business owners don't think about even the little details. So, with my McDonald's background, I can't help it, but I have a lot of metaphors, but that's the secret sauce. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
The small details, putting people first, that is your secret sauce. And people don't think about it, even those little nuances, how she is a huge asset in creating more business growth, repeat customers. And you might, like you just told me, right? So everyone hearing this, you didn't say the name of the store, et cetera. But if you were to go online and talk about what happened, you're now probably, by putting a post or review or whatever it is, or even if you did a video, it's incredible how that will spread like wildfire with a click, the amount of referrals and repeat business that can happen simply because of something so small, but it's so huge. And it's
totally agree. Yes.
Love it. Gosh, you said so much good stuff. I forgot to bring my notepad. So while you were talking, but
that's all right. Well, we were the other strategy I touched on was collaboration, and that, you know,
yeah.
I think we have an opportunity like we haven't seen in a long time to really amplify our business strength. Just another little comment on that, Jill, real quick here is that I'm a zealous advocate for entrepreneurial success. And one of the reasons is that I strongly believe that small business is absolutely the backbone of not just our marketplace locally, but worldwide. Every business started small. Every business started with one person and one idea. And when you look at the total dollars that are generated in any economy, small business totals of the lion's share. And so why not unify? Why not unite? Why not, kind of join arms, so to speak, in reclaiming the marketplace for what it can be?
Yes. Collaboration is my middle name. I absolutely believe so much in collaboration. That was my kind of goal for the year. Collaboration was my word. And it's really so important. And I agree. One of my favorite quotes around that topic is by a Japanese author, and I'm going to probably just destroy his name, but it's Ryonosuke Satoru. And he says that individually we are one drop, but together we're an ocean.
Love it.
And I love the imagery. I love the concept. And I agree 100%. Collaborate, find people. And same thing, I've reached out to other people in CX who I would otherwise think, oh, they're my competitors. But I don't think we should look at anyways people as competitors. But when I reached out to him, and now we're talking about doing a collaboration that I'm super excited about. And that just triggered a thought that, so I've just been reading a lot about finding things from my dad, an article that was written on him in the Gainesville Sun. And the writer asked him about what kind of business he's in. And my dad had all these great sites, these points of wisdom. But he asked about competition. Do you think about your competition? Burger King and Wendy's was popping up at the time and all these things. And he said, I really don't think about them. I focus on what I need to do and I make sure that I do it the best I can. And then I don't have to think about them because I know and I believe in what I'm doing and my service and my product and my offering. He didn't go into all those words, but he said, I focus on what I need to do and I do it great. And then I don't have to worry about the competition. And I think that's the way we should also look at collaboration, not a threat, but actually as a contributor, right? You can contribute and collaborate together.
Just to interject on that real quick here, Jill, if I may, the way I look at competition in business is first and foremost, the more successful similar businesses are, the more an industry and agreement in the marketplace evolves. So just like your McDonald's experience, that the success of McDonald's attracted other ideas and new approaches to serving the marketplace with food. And so now we have a whole industry, not just other businesses that make hamburgers, but also businesses that make all kinds of food in a way that serves the marketplace. And so first and foremost, I think competition is very healthy. And when you look for or expect or even desire in some way for competitors to be unsuccessful, you're actually eroding your own potential in the marketplace, in my opinion. But
Wow.
also, let's face it, I have a big background as a competitive swimmer. And I can tell you, there's never been a time that I've been competing with somebody in workout or in a competition that I didn't get better, that I didn't learn something.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, in business, when we pay attention to quote unquote competitors, there's an opportunity for you to up level, which is good for everybody. So, yeah, totally on board with what you're saying.
Wow, huge. That is so huge. Two thoughts around that. First of all, also, someone who's better and stronger than you. I was a tennis player. That was my big sport growing up. And I always wanted to play with someone better than I was. And it wasn't about me winning, but it made me a better player. And if I was worried about winning all the time and I would have played with someone lower than me, I would have never developed my skill as much. So I totally agree with that. With what you're saying. And I love that you brought up about if we're worried about competitors and we're not collaborating, we're actually harming our position in the marketplace. So I'm all about creating a movement. I want to create this customer experience movement by starting from the inside out, from the employee experience movement into the customer experience movement. And so in order for that to happen, a movement doesn't happen by someone alone on an island, like you said, right?
Right.
It is important to get as many people on board talking about the same things. And we're all going to talk about it differently from our own language, from our own experiences. We are, after all, an amalgamation of our past and everything. And no one is like you. No one's had your experiences. No one's had your upbringing. And so everyone is a gift to that movement and brings in something that would otherwise, like they're a gem, because I see it as facets. I think about a gem that's been cut. And so every facet, every cut on that stone shines light in a different way. And so when we have all of these different people contributing with their own facets and bringing in their own uniqueness and their experiences, the light will be so much greater and you will achieve at a much higher level than ever before. So
yeah, perfect. I agree. Yes.
yeah. So just checking the time here. Okay. So one last question. So in your opinion, Steve, among all the aspects that are requiring attention, which are many in running a business, what do you think should bubble up as a top priority right now, especially just, whether we're dealing with the pandemic or not? Like, what do you think people should be focusing on in their business?
So I'm going to go perhaps counterintuitive here for many. I've defined or declared, if you will, three inarguable laws for entrepreneur excellence. And the first one is if you don't take care of the goose, it won't lay golden eggs. And so as business owners, you're the goose. And if you don't take care of yourself, among all the other things that you feel like that you need to take care of, then you're not going to lay golden eggs. Your business is not going to be the best that it can be. And when I said counterintuitive, I think none among us that have the courage and vision to start a business and to run a business are hesitant to take things on, to do the work, to shoulder the load, to be the one, to take on the lion's share, to you mentioned feel the fear and do it anyway, to pitch in and do the small things, to pick up the piece of paper on the floor. All these things are great. Those are gifts. The way of thinking that bursts that whole demonstration of ambition and service and all those great things that make a great business are essential. But we're human beings, and if we don't take care of ourselves, then basically we're going to run out of gas, and there'll be those times that start to become more difficult than they should be for us. There's going to be days that we find ourselves edgy to the very people you were talking about, the employees that we depend on so much to deliver our face to the marketplace. We will be dismissive because we ran out of energy with the people that we serve. And so you have to take care of yourself. Now, what does that mean? First, it's okay for you to not, in fact, on a daily basis, you should find time.
I'm sorry, you keep freezing. Just tell me again, it's okay to not what?
To not work sometimes. In other words, on a daily basis, you should have time for work, and then you should have time for yourself and other people in your life, and other important things that you like to do, and that's okay. In fact, I would say it's essential if you're going to be the best that you can bring your best to the marketplace. So we take care of ourselves by not working, which is like, what? Wait a minute.
What does that mean?
Am I allowed? Yes. In fact, I will, as your coach here for a moment, I will insist that you not work sometimes. Another way that we take care of ourselves is the fundamental things that we all know about. You should be moving your body and being active and breathing fresh air and, getting some physical activity in a day. You should be eating and taking care of yourself nutritionally. And I believe another aspect in that category is connecting with our heart. I journal almost every day. I let my mind just sort of to relax and then seek what's on my heart. And then I write that down, and it's a great rejuvenating time. It's a reflective time. Some of my best ideas and my biggest spurts of energy come out of that time. So that's taking care of yourself. And then finally, something I always challenge and ask my clients about is what'd you do today to have fun? I mean, did you really do something that put a smile on your face, that created some exhilaration? I mean, if it's raining today, this sounds, as I won't say specifically, but well into my 60s. Don't be surprised if you see me running out and jumping in a puddle, right?
My daughter asked me the other day, it was pouring. She came in, she said, "Mom, can I go run in the rain?" I'm like, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So take care of the goose, I think is actually, believe it or not, a business strategy and essential for the business owner and entrepreneur.
Wow. Yeah. That's an area I'm still working on, honestly.
Yeah.
Putting me up there. I love the journaling. I also journal. It really, for me, is a free flow, and it just kind of, my brain is always going. And so it's a way to just kind of dump some of that. And I try to remember, I'm trying to be better about doing it every night with a gratitude journal. So I go to sleep in gratitude. So I go to sleep in a calm instead of busy, constantly thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't do that. And I need to call this person, and I need to create this document, whatever it is. And so it kind of is a nice way to end your evening and take you into that sleep. I also keep a notepad by my bed, because I do find that when I first wake up in the morning, then I just lay there. I'm not a morning person. I like to be able to lay there for a little bit and kind of slowly wake. But when I'm in that stage where I'm awake, but I'm still not fully alert, I find that just ideas and thoughts come to my mind. And some of my best thoughts, like with my speaking, a lot of ideas come, or if I'm working with the client, I think about what's going on with them, and I'll have this idea, and I'll keep a notepad. So I'll jot it down quickly, just even rough scribbles, so that when I'm alert and at my desk, then I can follow up on that. So those
I
are
do that too. My problem is reading what I wrote down.
yeah. The other day, I'm like, what is that?
What was that? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are all really great tips. Thank you so much. And it is about taking care of you. And as an employee, knowing that your employer, the owner, the executive suite, the managers, whoever is your direct report, that you directly report to, that they are looking out for your best interest, and that they are looking at you personally, not just as a cog in a wheel. And for them, that
Right.
the employee is not just a transaction for the owner, right? So because I'm EX to CX, what we're thinking about for the customer, you have to apply the exact same thing in parallel from the owner to the employer. So thinking about how do we make sure that we maintain that great, healthy relationship with the people who are our most prized asset, and that they're going to be happy to be there and be healthy to be there to represent you and to be a part of your success, because you would not be successful without them.
That's right.
So
true. Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of your fabulous contributions. It was really great. And to all of our listeners, if please continue to, even in the replay, to write and give us some comments. And if any of this resonated with you, if you agree that placing value on your human capital, I invite you to inquire about my Confident Customers Through Customer Experience program. It's a course that I put together during COVID, specifically based on other principles, because let's face it, great customer experience is great customer experience regardless of challenging or difficult times. And this course is a hybrid course. It's not just to do it yourself. You not only get the one-on-one personal calls with me to discuss your unique business challenges, what's most the pressing bottlenecks, what's going on with you, but also to be able to really have great thought-provoking ideas and what's happening to you. And there's applicable content through video that's given, some additional resources, a private mastermind group, and your own action guide so that you create your plans or assess the plans that you have in your system so that you stand out to create great employee experience. So they will, of course, ensure that they're delivering extraordinary customer experience to your paying customers. So let's talk. If you feel like any of this is right for you, your business, if you prefer direct support, of course, I'm available also for one-on-one consulting, speaking, workshops within your company as well. Available at any time. Let me put here, I always forget to put my information up there. So you can reach me at jillraff.com, and Raff is R like Ronald, A as in apple pie, and double F like French fry, of course. So jillraff.com, or reach out to me directly, jill@jillraff.com. And if you want to reach Steve, here's Steve's, wrong one. There we go. There's Steve's email. His website. Steve, do you want to direct people to you?
Yeah, I would just entrepreneurexcellence.com. There's a lot there to basically orient you to my mission and how I can serve you. And there's plenty of opportunities across the website there to reach out to me to actually get some time on my calendar. And one thing that I'll say that I think Jill is absolutely on the same page with the same sort of approach. Look, when you connect with me, and I believe it's the same with Jill, when you connect, we're going to create value, provide value. I have every conversation I have with people for the first time is literally a strategy session. What are you up to? Where are you going? What are the obstacles? What are the opportunities? And we may or may not work together, but my mission is to serve you, to help you make a leap in your journey to entrepreneur excellence. And And if I can do that in an hour, I will, and you don't have to pay for anything. But if it makes sense to work beyond that, let's talk about that, and I'm happy to explore that with you. So entrepreneurexcellence.com, and let's connect. Let's talk.
Outstanding. Thank you. That's excellent. Pun intended. Well, thank you, Steve. And for everyone, if there's a topic that you want to hear about specifically, an area, please, leave a comment. Let me know. I want to be able to provide value for you. And I want to talk about and explore or find a guest that can focus on what it is that's going to help you most. So please do that. We look forward to speaking with you every week here at Celebrity Customer Experience. And that is every Thursday, 12 o'clock Central Time. So Steve, thank you again. It's so great to have you, and look forward to, oops, oh my goodness. I look forward to continuing the conversation with you, and then seeing everyone here next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Jill.